Hello and welcome to the first part of our two-part video series summarising all you need to know about Bram Stoker's book, Dracula. Now, in this video, we're going to begin by looking at context and then summarising the book itself. And do come back for the second part of the video where we look at key themes, characters and analysis. So when it comes to understanding the context of this book, firstly, when it comes to understanding Bram Stoker himself, he was an Irish writer who was often sick as a child. His mother often entertained him with fantasy tales, and vampire stories have been around for a while when Bram Stoker wrote his most famous story. The Dracula family was real from the 15th century. Vlad the Impaler, the patriarch, was known for his bloody career as a cruel prince. So Count Dracula is portrayed as a descendant of this real Dracula. This book also belongs to a wider genre called Gothic Fiction, and Gothic Fiction, particularly at this time during the Victorian era, was incredibly popular. These stories often included elements like castles, especially castles which have seen their heyday and are decaying, frightening foreign lands and evil creatures, all of which feature in Dracula. And Stoker's novel highlights the differences between the Gothic world in Transylvania and the modern world in London. And this comparison highlights old and new worldviews about science, religion and sex. Now, when it comes to understanding the book itself and summarising it, the book begins with Jonathan Harker, who's an English lawyer, and he travels to Castle Dracula in Transylvania for a real estate transaction. We get the idea from him, who's a newly qualified solicitor, that Count Dracula is a very wealthy man indeed. As he travels, the locals warn him against going to this castle and give him charms to ward off the vampire. He meets the Count of the castle and finds him to be a gentleman. However, he realises once he's inside that he is trapped in the castle. He begins to realise that the Count has supernatural powers. And one night, he is attacked by 3 female vampires, but Count Dracula scares them away, saying Harker is his. Harker tries to escape the castle by climbing it out. The story shifts to Harker's fiancée, Nina Murray. She's talking to her friend Lucy about marriage proposals, and Nina visits Lucy in a seaside town. A Russian shipwrecks on the shore, and all the crew are missing, and the captain is dead. The only cargo is 50 boxes of dirt sent from Castle Dracula. Lucy starts sleepwalking, and on one night, Mina sees her go into a cemetery, a figure bending over her. She becomes ill when there are 2 red marks on her throat. The doctor sends for his mentor, Professor Van Helsing. Harker appears in Budapest with brain fever, and Mina goes to join him. Van Helsing orders Lucy's chambers to be covered in garlic, and her mother removes it though, and she falls ill again. On one night, a wolf breaks into the house and kills Lucy. Van Helsing brings others to her tomb, telling them now she is undead like Dracula. When they see Lucy rise and pray on a child, and they plunge a stake through her heart and cut off her head and fill her mouth with garlic. Now she's really out rest, and they agree to destroy Dracula, who is causing many of these people who die to become vampires. Mina and Jonathan Harker help them, and the group plans their attack. And one of the doctor's mental patients lets Dracula into the asylum where the group is staying. Dracula enters and preys on Mina. Mina begins to change into a vampire. The men sterilize the boxes of earth from the wrecked ship, which forces Dracula to flee his castle. They then go to the castle and kill the female vampires and seal their entrance with sacred objects that deter vampires. The other men catch Dracula as he runs to the castle and use knives to kill him. So that's all. If you found this video useful, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more revision videos and resources which you might find helpful when it comes to studying English either at A-level or GCSE. Thank you for listening.